Garden Warfare 2's variants, love them or hate them, they aren't completely without fault. The most commonly cited anti-variant complaint I've seen is balancing. With over 100 characters in Garden Warfare 2, it would be, and I guess was, an impossible task to balance them all. Though if we're being honest, PopCap didn't exactly help themselves, and today's video is going to prove that. For today, we'll be charting the history of Garden Warfare 2's most unfortunate variant, the barbecue corn. At launch, Barbecue Corn found himself at his strongest and already had whispers of discontent in the community, though at launch the devs and community had a much larger problem: Rose. She was an absolute no skill required nightmare at launch. The first patch to come to the game in March of 2016 came with immediate nerfs to Rose's DPS and homing, effectively burying any conversation about Rose, and from the ashes rose two discussions. The first and less prevalent for now was Electro Citron. This would be foreshadowing his domination of multiplayer in the years to come, though at launch there appeared to be a general sentiment that the Citron class as a whole was OP, with Reg and Frozen being yelled at as well. Though second and more prevalent by a country mile was our lad, Barbecue Corn. At this point, Barbecue Corn outshined most other corns stats-wise, making it pointless to play Mob Cop and Pops Corn. A fully upgraded Barbecue Corn dealt 244 damage per clip, with a DPS of 75. And assuming you could land all crits, that turned to an eye-watering 292 damage per clip, plus fire damage. That would be more than enough to kill any character bar the mechs. This combined with his accuracy led to an OP and most importantly well complained about character. There were also complaints about Huskop being OP at this time, but you know, that's just an inevitability at this point. Also slight murmurings of fire damage being the culprit, though this would compromise the already underperforming fire variants in the game. Barbecue Corn was the issue, and Barbecue Corn was what needed to be sorted out. So that's why in the following May 2016 patch, they massively buffed Citron. I mean, they also slightly nerfed Barbecue Corn. This shot Electro and the other Citrons into the spotlight with a fair amount of backlash. Though, despite how much of an issue this was, Barbecue Corn's name was still being cursed with all the breath the community could muster. This initial nerf came in the form of an ammo reduction from 35 to 30, dropping his damage per clip from 213 to 183. This guy could no longer kill All-Stars and Super Brains without that ammo upgrade, so that power had to be earned in a way. However, despite this, almost all OP character threads from around the time mentioned this guy's name. The community still labelled this guy OP, and at this point it's hard to know if it was reasonable. It just goes to show how hated this guy was at launch. Even despite a nerf and other characters starting to dominate the game, people still weren't happy. My only assumption as to why this didn't feel like enough was because of the Corn health buff of the early March patch, making reducing damage not seem just treatment. The following June patch didn't bring any good news to Corn haters, nor did it quell the Frozen Citron uprising that was happening. It wouldn't be until the following July patch that Barbecue Corn would once again be nerfed. This time, however, his damage per shot was dropped from 6.1 to 5.6. This would result in an unupgraded damage per clip of 168, which does sound bad, requiring 2 clips to kill Super Brains and All-Stars, but his accuracy and fire damage still kept him quite playable. This seemed to be how the community felt as well. This conversation about this guy seemingly dropped off the face of the planet, ending the age of the Barbecue Corn and ushering in the age of the Electro Citron. But that's a topic for another day. So now that peace has been restored to Barbecue Corn, PopCap was perfectly content, doing the right thing and leaving him perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Gotcha. November 2016, Barbecue Corn landed the biggest nerf in his history, having his damage per shot reduced from 5.6 to 4.6, taking his damage per clip from a reasonable 168 with fire damage to 138. This guy could barely kill standard health characters, let alone Super Brains and All-Star. Even today people think this is unnecessary. At the time it was impossible to find conversation about this guy from the July patch. This just buried him for good, remaining in the bottom tier till the present day. Speaking of, despite this character's awful treatment and bad stats, you will still find, maybe even on this video, the numerous defenders of this character. This is primarily because of all the abuse his damage got, his accuracy was never touched, leading to still a very satisfying character to play. And from playing the game recently, he still has decent usage, especially amongst veteran players, and seems to be a popular, underrated character pick. So that was the history of the Barbecue Corn, and for one last time, let's roll that montage.